When you think of a rock, what comes to mind? Well, today we're going to peel back the layers. We're talking about a place that's not just a country on a map, but literally the cradle of civilization. We're going on a journey from the world's very first cities all the way to the complex headlines we see today. So what is Iraq? I mean, it sounds simple, right? But the answer, wow. It's a journey through thousands of years of empires, mind-blowing innovations, and heartbreaking conflicts. And here's the thing. This history didn't just shape Iraq. It shaped all of us. And you can really see it right here. This is the heart of what Iraq is today. You've got this incredibly deep history, literally ancient, living and breathing right next to the fast pace of the 21st century. It's this mix, this tension between old and new that really tells the country's story. Okay, so before we dive deep into the past, let's get our bearings. Let's start with a quick snapshot of Iraq right now. What are the basics we need to know? All right, so it's right there in the Middle East, tucked between Iran and Saudi Arabia. The capital is Baghdad. We're talking about a republic with a population of over 30 million people, at least back around 2011. So those are the modern borders, the basic stats. But believe me, the story of this land starts way, way before anyone drew these lines on a map. And to really get what Iraq is all about, we have to go back. I mean, all the way back to the beginning. Back to a place known as the land between two rivers, where civilization as we know it first sparked to life. Yeah, before there was an Iraq, this whole area was called Mesopotamia. It's actually a Greek name, and it's super descriptive. It literally means the land between two rivers. And those two rivers are the famous Tigris and Euphrates.
Sumer, Akkad, Babylon, Assyria. I mean, listen to those names. These aren't just dusty words from a history book. We're talking about humanity's first great civilizations. They all grew up right here, in this very spot. And the stuff they came up with, writing, laws, science, that's the foundation of the world we live in today. It's incredible.
And that global importance didn't just fade away. Fast forward to the 8th century, and Baghdad becomes the capital of the Abbasid Caliphate. And this wasn't just some regional capital. It was a world epicenter. A shining beacon for science, culture, and learning during what we call the Islamic Golden Age. So the big question is, how do you get from this ancient, powerful land to the modern nation of Iraq? Well, the 20th century hit like a whirlwind, bringing massive changes that would completely redraw the map and redefine this place forever. And it was a complicated path for sure. For centuries, this area was part of the Ottoman Empire. Then, after World War I, Britain took control. It was called a League of Nations Mandate, which basically means it was run by another country. Then, in 1932, it got its independence as a kingdom. But that didn't last forever. By 1958, it was declared a republic. So you're seeing a brand new nation being forged in just a few decades of really intense change. But all that change, it wasn't easy. It also brought some huge challenges. And the last few decades in particular have been incredibly turbulent and have really, really shaped the nation we see today. Now, looking at the aftermath of the 2003 US-led invasion, our source material uses some very direct language. It describes this period as, and I'm quoting here, quote, creating a new period of misery for the Iraqi people. The source goes on to state that this period spiraled into a bloody and devastating civil war. Specifically, it was a conflict between the two main branches of Islam in the country, Shia and Sunni Muslims. So to get a handle on that conflict, you kind of need to understand the country's religious demographics. The majority of Iraqis, about 60 to 65%, are Shia Muslims. And there's a very large Sunni Muslim minority, around 32 to 37%. The source we're looking at explains that the power vacuum left after 2003 basically lit a match on the tensions between these communities, which is what led to that civil war. Okay, but it is so important to remember that Iraq is so much more than headlines about conflict. Beyond all that, there's this nation with incredible cultural depth and a ton of natural resources. This is the stuff that makes up the fabric of everyday life in Iraq. I mean, we're talking about a place with a really vibrant art scene. It's home to world-class poets, painters, and sculptors. And that creativity flows right into its beautiful, intricate crafts, like their famous carpets and rugs, which are known all over for their amazing quality. Now, if we look at the economy, one thing just dominates the story: oil. As you can see, crude oil makes up a massive chunk of Iraq's exports. It's the powerful engine that really drives the whole national economy. But even though oil is king when it comes to exports, the country's foundation is actually much broader. They've got a lot of natural gas, phosphates, and sulfur. And don't forget agriculture.
This is the Fertile Crescent, after all. They grow things like wheat, rice, and dates. And this diversity, well, that's a huge opportunity for Iraq's future, to build an economy that's stable and not just reliant on oil.
And this right here, this picture really captures the essence of it all, doesn't it? You've got this vibrant, bustling, modern city, and it's built on literally thousands of years of history. The ancient world and today's world aren't just sitting next to each other here, they're constantly talking to each other, shaping each other.
So when you think about it, from the very first cities of Sumer to the golden age of Baghdad, through empires, colonialism, and modern conflict, the one constant in this story is just astonishing resilience. So the real question, when you look at this incredibly deep past and this complex present, is what will the next chapter hold for Iraq?